What's up, it's Accurate again with a new video, and I know that my last few videos has been a lot about gear lately, so this one is just going to be a sample-based beat making video, nothing else. Accurate Beats. So I went to a pretty big flea market the other day and I came home with a bunch of records, so I'm gonna try to find some samples on some of those records, sample it inside the Maschine MK3 and try to make a beat out of it. I've had a lot of fun with the Rolly Seaboard Rise lately, so maybe I'll add the bass line or a melody or something on that unit as well. But you never know, anything can happen. Now let's start by taking a look at the samples, so let's go. So let's try the first album here. What's fun is that you never know exactly what you get, but perhaps we'll find something that's worth working with. So there's something at the end of this track that I feel like I wanted to use in some kind of way, so let's sample it. Something like that. And let's keep looking for more.
We're going through.
Now let's try another record. You never know, this might be something. Yeah, I think that could be useful. But I'm not sure, I'm just collecting sounds right now.
On the other side of town.
No, thank you. Now let's see what's behind door number 3. Yeah, maybe that's something. Let's go back to that later. Okay, I don't need to hear any more than that just to know that I need to sample it. I do like the sound of that. Yeah, let's go back to the first side again and check for that track. I want to take a small part of that as well. So I recorded a bunch of small samples here. Now let's get starting with the editing. See if I can isolate that snare. It seems like almost too much work for just a snare. So let's go back here and pick one of the other samples to focus on. Maybe that one. Copy it to another group. Can I grab these small notes here? Really short slices, so let's try to pitch it down for once. So I think that kind of works in some way. I'm thinking around 95 BPM that I set it to already. So let's use the MPC Live and make a little drum loop and see if it fits together. So let's set the sequencer here to 95 BPM as well. I'm turning all the time division and quantize settings off. Set that one to 4 bars and let's try to record a loop here. Yeah, that's a starting point. So let's try to play them together. Yeah, maybe I want to go up a little bit in pitch here. This one doesn't really fit in there. Let's try to raise it from -2 semitones to 12 up, which means +10, right? That might be something. One semitone down. Well, I think this is kind of nice. I could pick one of the other samples as well, but this one works pretty good, and for now, let's just stick with this. I want to go into the group and add some kind of effect on the whole sample and every chop. Maybe something a little bit crazy, like a flanger. Maybe not a flanger after all. Let's try a chorus. That's better. Maybe a little bit less of that effect, and maybe just try something more on top of that. Yeah, I'm gonna try one of the old tricks in the book and add a grain delay with the pitch setting set to 12, so that's a full octave up. Now I'm just drowning it in effects, so let's turn the chorus off for the moment, changing the equalizer. Now it's a little bit too bright, I think, so let's take the whole sample and pitch it down one more semitone. Give that a try. 2 more semitones down just to see what happens. Yeah, I think that's a lot better. Let's just take one of the other slices and change the pitch of it a couple of semitones down. No, that just doesn't work. So I think we have some kind of start here. So let's just record it inside of Maschine without caring about the drums. So the metronome is on, and let's just play something to the click. So let's consider that a starting point for the first loop. And who knows, maybe I'm able to squeeze one of the other samples in here as well. Let's listen to it again. And let's try some of the other stuff out. That kind of fits in there. So I'm gonna take that one, duplicate it to a new group, and just keep the small thing that I need here. What makes it weird is that snare sound right there. So I'm gonna zoom in as much as necessary and just cut it out. This works sometimes, sometimes not. Truncate. And I like to do things manually, so let's just put a fade out on the sample right there. And let's go to the sound page and add a little bit of a normal delay, beat delay that is. Yeah, that kind of adds something to it, so let's record it on the other sample. But I don't want it to contain that much bass frequencies, so let's go to a filter, a high pass, just a little bit like that. Yeah, that's good. Now, I don't know how necessary this little chop is, but for me it feels kind of cool to be able to add stuff to a thing like this. And it does bring something to it, so let's have a listen again. Yeah, I want to change the placement of that last one, so let's first delete it and then record it again. I want it to go... Yeah, that's better. So let's go into the samples again and see if I can add even one more thing here. I don't know, maybe something later. Yeah, that's kind of corny, but I'm gonna try to use it anyways, just separate the individual sounds. I really don't know about this, but let's just record it and see how it turns out. Yeah, it's starting to become something here, but let's make another scene. Duplicate this one over here with everything, but I want to change this pattern out with the main sample thing. Now let's record another pattern here that has a little bit more bounce to it, and it's like a variation of the same sample. Now that came out pretty cool, I think, so let's listen back to the first scene and then the other one right next to it, together with the drums and everything. Yeah, I really like where this one is going right now. But let's see what I can add on top of this when it comes to a bass line or a melody or whatever like that. And before I can even start thinking about what kind of sound to add, I need to know what notes we're talking about. So let's figure that out first. So I'm using this really basic sound on the OP1. And then I just play the whole loop and try to play different notes on top of that, just to see what sounds right, what sounds wrong. Okay. So it all came down to these notes. And I'm switching that low C to a high C, and it becomes... That kind of fits there, that's in tune and it's alright. So now that I have the notes figured out, I've loaded up a sub-bass sound, and I'm gonna add a little bit of a bass line on top of the sample. And the drums from the MPC. Well, that's good enough. Now let's try to put the same pattern, pattern 1, on the next scene as well for the bass line. Now I want longer notes and something more simple to that. So another pattern and the same sound. So let's go. Well, I'm kind of happy with that. Now let's go to another group and another sample slot. And let's sample something from the Rolly Seaboard Rise through the Equator software. Put the screen back on. Go to Equator in standalone mode. Now we're looking for a preset. I think I want something bell-like. So let's just write bell. DX bell, sounds about right. So definitely a beautiful FME sound. Let's see if it fits on the track. So the only thing I'm gonna add here is just this. And that's gonna add a lot to the sound, even though it's just a little detail. So I'm recording it in sync mode for 4 bars, and when I hit the start button, it's just gonna wait for the next bar. So when I turn it on with the metronome, it's gonna sync up nicely. So it's right there. Let's go to the edit thing and normalize the sample. Of course, lower the volume quite a lot after that. So let's hit Shift Browse and go to the audio thing. And now, all of a sudden, it's in there. That's on pattern 1, so if you go to the next scene, it's not there. Let's try to put it there and see if it fits. Yeah, it kind of does. So right now we have this small little bongo conga pattern, main sample. We have this little fill sample. Over here we have the bass line. And down here we have the bell from the Rolly keyboard. And on the MPC Live we just have the drums right now. And that's basically just preset sounds. So now I want to go into Maschine instead and switch out those drums and basically not care about the MPC Live for this one. So I found some drum samples that I think fits nicely with this track. So let's try to record them. That's pretty nice. So we're pretty much done with this track. I'm gonna record some scratch on top of it as well. But I want to mention that I just saw a video from a guy named Jeremy. He runs the channel Red Means Recording. and he just dropped a video
to talk to you about channels that inspire me.
He mentioned me and it sounded pretty much like this.
Next up is Accurate Beats. Accurate Beats I found via sort of the OP1 fellowship online, where YouTube suggests OP1 videos to you if you've ever thought about buying an OP1. He also uses Native Instruments stuff like the Maschine and MPC Live. He's hip-hop oriented, like really classic, nice boom bap shit, like really knows his stuff. If you want to see how this kind of hip-hop stuff is made, he's an amazing channel to do it, because he's just constantly knocking out this high quality stuff. You put anything in his hands that can like do sampling, and this guy knows like how to rock it out.
So first of all, thanks a lot, Jeremy. That's just a great video. Thanks for shouting me out like that. But now, of course, I have to steal from you. You can't do this.
Accurate Beats. Accurate Beats.
Without being imported in my Traktor setup and scratched a little bit on this track. Well, thanks a lot everyone for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye now.
I go by the name of
Accurate Beats.